ABC came out with their numbers for the Overwatch League.
They did.
I'm honestly surprised at the viewership. So, a little bit of a disclaimer before we get into it. These numbers are a little bit shifted because they had to change networks. If you are in the United States, you may have heard about the Mueller investigation, aka real-life boring politics.
Yeah.
That broke during the finals.
Like in the middle of the final. I think it was at halftime. Or it was a halftime, or I think it was. Because I remember about to start up, and then all of a sudden.
I was watching it on Twitch, so I didn't get the break.
Oh, okay. I watched it on both. Yeah. I had it on. I wasn't even watching the TV. I was watching it on Twitch, but I wanted. I was a viewer.
You wanted the experience.
Yes.
I do know that they shifted from ABC to ESPN News. Yeah.
Which is something you only get, obviously, if you have a cable package. So, of course, the viewership's going to drop. But
I want to go and talk about those numbers a bit. We don't really do news stories all too often on the show anymore.
Yeah.
It's
refreshing to get a news story.
I kind of wanted to go talk about the news. So this is from Showbuzz Daily. I'm not quoting these numbers from myself. I'm getting them from somewhere else. Mm-hmm. We had the Overwatch League Grand Finals aired on ABC. Pulled in 367,000 viewers on Sunday, March 24th. The SemiFinals, which aired on Saturday, had about 306,000 viewers. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So the actual finals pulled in more people than the semifinals.
Correct.
A couple of things to note, and sorry, I didn't mean to...
No, go ahead.
A couple of things to note as well. If you follow actual basketball, if you know about March Madness, there was a game going on during the Overwatch League stage finals.
Yep.
Which is kind of a big deal. You're competing with one of the largest sports tournaments.
Yeah. In America, by far. I mean, this is a reason it's called March Madness.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. No, sorry. Continue on.
So it's kind of interesting. And if you want to compare it, the Overwatch League Grand Finals had about 289,000 viewers on ESPN, I want to say.
Yes, and I think so. Obviously, the growth year to year is what they're looking for, right?
Yes.
That's the big thing when it comes to this league and being able to expand and all these grand things that you hear about. This is the kind of numbers that we need to see. We need to see growth. We need to not see if this would have dropped under 289,000. That would have been scary.
Yeah.
Especially for ESPN, Disney, and Blizzard and everyone involved. That would not be a good look.
Well, here's one thing that I find really interesting about these numbers too. ESPN is a premium cable channel.
Yes.
Technically speaking, unless you download the ESPN app, which you can watch Overwatch League through the app, you need to pay for ESPN.
Yes. And I don't know if you know, but ESPN in a cable package is one of the most expensive channels in the basic cable package.
I did not know that.
I say that, so like, for example, Comcast or wherever your big cable provider that you use. So to get ESPN for that cable provider, they pay ESPN money. And so ESPN, like on a per channel basis, is one of the, if not the most expensive channels for cable providers to get. That's why those sports packages or your cable bundle is so expensive, because they pass on that cost to you, the consumer. I only know this because I have a family member who works for Comcast. God bless their soul. If you work for a cable company, I feel sorry for how much hate you deal with. But anyway, so that's the case. So for the fact that such a high-profile cable company to broadcast the Overwatch League is awesome. And then to put it on ABC, obviously, which is national broadcast across the whole nation without cable. So that's a huge investment, and to get these numbers are a good sign. It actually beat out something else over the weekend, like college wrestling. So people are into that. We beat out a traditional sport, something that people don't think is actually possible with esports, but it happened.
Well, so here's something that concerns me a little bit that just crossed my mind now that we're talking about these numbers. So, on ESPN, again, a paid channel, the grand finals, the creme de la creme of Season 1 of Overwatch League. Granted, this was when there was less advertising, there was less put into it. They didn't really know what worked, so they were just trying to throw everything that they could at the table. They pulled in 289,000. For the Stage 1 finals on ABC, a channel that is free to every American with a television set and an antenna, only pulled about 367,000. So that's about, 80,000 increase?
Right. Yeah.
So you would imagine, though, that if it's free, you would have more people watching it, right?
Well, I think a lot of this, too, is that exposure level, right? It's the fact that you get the viewers and it's marketing at the same time. I remember I mentioned on last episode that when people went to the gym, they have local channels on at the gym. They look at ABC and Overwatch is on. And there's that casual player who's like, oh, wow, it's becoming a big thing. Maybe I should check out this Overwatch League. And you get that free market exposure as well. So in the Stage 1 final, I think this is decent. I don't want to say it's great, but this is a build-up, I think, to something that when the Grand Finals comes, we put that on ABC. I think we're looking at really big numbers, maybe double what they had last year, if not triple.
I did read in this article that the ABC for the finals thing is happening every stage final. It's not just this one.
Nice.
So that means that Stage 2 finals, Stage 3 finals, Stage 4, and I'm assuming the Grand Finals in September as well.
Yeah.
You have to assume.
And I think it's a good bet for ABC. Only because of the fact that, I don't know if people watch traditional sports, they're the only one that doesn't, I mean, they have ESPN, of course, they're all just under the same umbrella, but they're the only one that doesn't have a premier thing they put on their local broadcast. CBS and Fox have NFL games on Sundays, things like that. When it comes
I thought ABC did the NBA.
They do the NBA on one day. So they put it on ESPN on Sunday. It's like a showcase, a Saturday primetime thing, and they put the other game on ESPN. So, but that's the night game, right? They have nothing for the daytime TV. NBC has golf, I don't know, and they have racing and stuff like that. So, they don't have, I mean, that's the one option that they have, and other channels have multiple things that they put on. So, I think that's something they want to try out on a Saturday or Sunday at 2 p.m. and see where it gets them. And if they're the first ones in the market and doing this, they get it for the cheap price. Let's say this takes off. You know what sort of cost for Fox or someone else to get these kind of rights? It'll be skyrocketed. So get in early, see how it plays out. And I think it's a smart move by ABC.
So a couple of things I want to highlight. In chat, Coolest Cripple says, quote, the Overwatch League finals had a global average of more than 860,000 viewers. Unquote. So I did see that number when we were doing the research for this news. That number, I don't want to say unfortunately, that number also includes Twitch and watching it online across the world.
Yes.
So because I only say this, I know these numbers because I previously did a report on the grand finals where I looked at all the numbers. So many numbers.
Yeah. All the numbers. All the mats.
Oh, wow, you got the full quote. I love it. So completing the quote, breaking that down to the U.S., average minute audience was 289,175, with 45% of that falling into the 18-34 demographic. Worldwide audience in that demo was 605,015 average minutes, or average per minute, which that's a phenomenal number. Different website. Okay. So one thing that I want to talk about, though, with those numbers, comparing them to the Stage 1 finals, is we have to kind of look at the build, right? So Season 1 of Overwatch League started off, I don't want to say like a grassroots thing, because it wasn't.
Right.
But
I mean,
if you
it had a lot of financial backing.
Right. But Stage 1 was kind of small. Like, we didn't have too many advertisers. Only, 2 teams had sponsors.
Yeah.
Toyota wasn't involved. T-Mobile wasn't involved.
Coca-Cola wasn't involved.
Coca-Cola wasn't involved. A lot of the big names that you see in Overwatch League today were not involved at the beginning of Overwatch League Season 1.
Right.
But as the league went on, more people started investing. More companies started noticing. That was when they started their partnership with Disney for Disney XD and ESPN. This ABC deal didn't even happen until this year. And I think it's just because Disney recognizes the actual value of the Overwatch League, which is why you see games every week on Disney XD, which is why you see the playoffs on ABC, which, by the way, if you didn't know, is owned by Disney. It still kind of terrifies me when I think about it.
Well, it's the end of the world coming. It's Skynet about to happen. Google and Disney are combined, and then
don't forget Amazon.
Amazon is going to be what everything runs on. Google's going to have all the information, and Disney's just going to be all your entertainment in everything. But but I want to bring up you bring up a good point with those numbers, and one of the big things that stuck out to me was the age demographic one step below that 18 to 34. There's a 12 to 17 range age graphic. I don't know how they legally get that, but it's in one of those articles. And the reason I want to bring that up is that's how you create habits in people.
Yeah.
When you watch things like that at a young age, I remember growing up with, my dad, we used to sit there and watch sports. You watch football on Sundays. That's just what you did. So growing up, that's all I knew to do is that you watch football on Sundays. Well, you see these kids growing up, and they're starting to watch esports on Sundays, which is when they're on. And you're 13, 12-year-old kid, you're like, oh, sweet, Overwatch League is on. And you repeatedly watch that. And as you get older, now you got a job, now you got some money, now you play the game. And so you start building back into the ecosystem, and then maybe you get old enough and Overwatch League, maybe it's still around, I don't know what the plan is. But then you say, hey, I got a friend, or I know someone, or I have a kid, let's watch some esports. And you build that repetitive behavior. So getting him at this age and it being an esport and going along the path of that is how you build a foundation for revenue to come. That's how the NFL did it. NBA did it. They've been around for so long, it's ingrained in the culture. They're ingraining it in the culture to watch these things, which is, I think they're playing the long game. I think ABC, Blizzard are playing the long game with this, and I think they're doing a great job of it. The numbers now, yes, they're not going to beat March Madness. Of course, we know that. They're not going to beat some other things that are on just TV that people have been watching every Sunday for however long. But you plant the seed now, and then 4 or 5 years down the road, you already see Dota Invitational at $25 million. You get these prize pools like this, you get professional players, you get actual representation, you probably can get agents at some point. Like, you start building a true league here, which is what I want to see. So that was my biggest thing about the age demographic. That was great.
Yeah, and so I wanted to touch on a couple of things that you had mentioned there. So the first one you mentioned of how, like, Overwatch, if it will last that long, I think it will. Okay. I brought this example up, I want to say last episode actually, where we talked about League of Legends. Yeah. And how that esport or just that game in general, has been going since 2009, I want to say 2008. Again, chat, if you know the exact year, if I'm wrong.
Man, it's been that long already?
Yes.
God, 10 years?
It's been that long. Summoner's Rift is the only map.
What? They still play the same map? Oh, what? I had no idea.
Like, it's the same map. There are, like, extra maps in League, but Summoner's Rift is the main map. That's where
played on, like, the esports level.
Yes.
Is it excuse my ignorance when it comes to League of Legends, everybody. Is it procedurally generated? Like, do things change? Everything's exactly the same.
I'm okay. I haven't played League in a long time. When I did play, I was not paying much attention. I just ran down mid and tried not to die.
God. I played League of Legends one time, and I'm like, I have no idea what I'm doing. What is this gold for? What am I supposed to do with this?
So, quick correction in chat. League of Legends was released on October 27th, 2009. Thank you, Coolest Cripple. So, what this tells me is that this game has been going for 10 years.
That's
Granted, there has been UI updates. There has been some gameplay changes.
And maybe 1 or 2 characters added. Just 1 or 2. Like 30. What was 40?
Aren't they over 100 by now?
I have no idea, but I wouldn't be surprised. There's no way they're not over 100 at this point. It is insane how they've kept that game going and these prize pools. And I think Overwatch is set up to be a lot better than that because we have a single governing body. I hate to say it, people don't like to consolidate that power, like the NBA commissioner, NFL commissioner when it comes to traditional sports. A lot of the things like Dota and League of Legends don't have that one spot, that one voice of truth. And so you kind of gets a little bit scattered, I guess.
Are you talking about Nate Nanzer?
No, Nate Nanzer's in the Overwatch League, which is a good thing, I think, for a commissioner to take over. But the other esports, at least as far as my knowledge, you don't have the commissioner of all Dota.
I'm sure they have some sort of commissioner for
I would hope so.
Because we know with League of Legends they have it's not the LCS anymore, it's the LES?
I think
it used to be LCS. They recently changed it.
Probably to a league trying to copy Overwatch League because everyone's copying Overwatch League.
What they are doing is they're still doing like esportsy teams, they're not doing city-based teams, which it makes so much sense.
Yeah.
But they are doing a league-based thing where they play games consistently.
Okay.
And we know Call of Duty is doing a esports league similar to the Overwatch League.
Yeah, what they call the World League or something like that, I think?
No, that's their current esports thing. I'm sure they're going to do something similar, though.
Yeah, it's such a simple idea to take off. I mean, they're still the same teams, basically. Your Cloud9s, your Envious, your Optic Gamings, etc. Those are still the same things, but put a city behind it. It's such a basic thing.
Look at the Overwatch League. When it first started, we had your Cloud9.
It was Apex.
We had all those teams. Or San Francisco Shock was Team Energy. Yeah. The Dallas Fuel were Envious. The Houston Outlaws
were Optic Gaming.
Wait, was that Optic's Overwatch roster?
Yes. No, Well, we assembled the roster. We didn't actually have a bona fide team when it first started, but we made a team.
There were multiple teams in the first season of the Overwatch League that were literally copy-paste from another team.
Yeah.
And season 2, I think the only 2 teams that did that were, of course, the Vancouver Titans. that was just straight runaway. Mm-hmm. And then Shanghai Dragons brought on, I think, is it Kung Fu Panthera?
Yes, for
Shanghai.
Yes, and then Lunatic High for Seoul Dynasty.
Yes.
So
so we only had a few teams that came on and said, you know what, we're just gonna copy paste. But it's really fascinating looking at it because they start off like that, and then as they grow, as they shift, they turn into something else.
Oh yeah, don't get it twisted. They had the main rights to teams that they went over, but in order to get the investments they wanted for the Overwatch League, they had to bring in other people. Bob Kraft, for example, I hate to bring up the name, for the Boston Uprising, is one of the principal investors in the team. I think Jerry Jones is kind of has an angle, at least in the arena or something, for the esports in Dallas, or the team itself. Yeah. Like, they're putting their foot in this too, just in case, because they know this could be something potentially big.
You know, this is a topic I think we should, follow up on at some point. Because,
it's going to be good to watch.
There's so many, especially after Stage 2, we're definitely going to have a follow-up topic once we get the numbers.
Yeah.
But we're going to wrap on the second topic, guys. Thanks for watching. As always, join us for the next topic tomorrow, and we will see you next time.